Hello and welcome to the weekly wrap video. Just a couple of things to catch you up on from the past 5 trading sessions. Earnings season in the US really got underway this week with very positively received reports from Bank of America, JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley, but not the case for the other US financials as Goldman Sachs and Citigroup fall after their Q4 numbers. We also saw the first large tech name in the US, Intel, disappointing after market on Thursday, causing their shares to slide throughout Friday's session. However, in the broader indices then, we saw a bit of a hiccup in the first couple of days of trade and a bit of a continuation from the losses after non-farm payrolls last Friday. However, US equity markets quickly gathered some steam and rallied to intraday record highs during the week, but slightly coming off towards the end of the week on Friday. Elsewhere then, in terms of macro events, we saw the final speech out of the Fed Chairman Bernanke in his position as the head of the FOMC, so just seen as more of a retrospective speech on his performance of the Federal Reserve and as the Fed Chairman across his years in his tenure, as he hands over to Janet Yellen, due to be chairing the meeting in a couple of weeks' time. Elsewhere then, macro commentary this week on Friday, we saw UK retail sales really firmly beating expectations, driven by these smaller retailers who weren't necessarily indicated to perform strongly after we saw those profit warnings of the likes of Tesco, Morrisons and Debenhams, to name just a few, who disappointed and issued some warnings in the post-Christmas period. As such, the sterling currency rallied pretty firmly into the close of the week, and most interestingly, this comes ahead of the BOE minutes next week, as this very strong macro data could potentially push the MPC further and further towards adjusting their forward guidance, potentially moving the unemployment rate threshold down from 7.0% to 6.5%. How much of the focus next week will again be on the US earnings calendar. We have some big pharma names next week out of the US as Johnson & Johnson kick off their performance. But as mentioned, we also have BOE minutes and of course the latest jobs numbers likely to take the focal point as we progress through the next 5 days. But also Chinese GDP is due, as analysts do remain concerned of a potential slowdown in Chinese growth stemming from a curbing of credit and irresponsible lending from Chinese banks as the PBOC crack down on the shadow banking sector. But in the meantime, that's all from me. I've got a great 5 days of trade, but I hope you have an even better weekend, and I'll see you again on Monday.